Hi, everybody. Welcome to Grab Your Keys. I'm SueMeitner, and I am so happy to have a longtime friend of mine on. I've been trying to get her scheduled, but because of her schedule, she's been jet setting all over the world. And Kelly Kennedy is here today. She's going to help us learn so much. No one will even imagine the amount that she's going to teach us. She's taught me in my life enormous amounts of knowledge about my body, about my being, about how to react to things, how not to react to things. And she has really gotten me over the hump of a lot of challenges that I have had in my life. So I'm grateful to her every single day. So Kelly Kennedy runs 18-year birthday, True Wellness. She is the Lymph Queen. She is a wellness guru. And Kelly, thank you so much for coming on Grab Your Keys. I have been waiting to talk to you.
Well, can you just go everywhere and just introduce me, Sue? That was so beautiful. Thank you. And Grab Your Keys is a perfect name for your show because you have helped me grab my keys and get my financial keys in order to allow me. I'm going to get emotional. It's only been 30 seconds to allow me to grow this business and grow my life, because while I love what I do and have complete passion about what I do, I know that teaching people how the body works needed to be out there more than it was. And I needed to learn how to do that. And because of us working together in both ways, because we have two different relationships, well, probably 5 relationships, but that relationship has assisted and facilitated me in my mission in my life, to grab my keys and to go out to the world with my mission of educating people how their body really works and what's really happening, why everybody's getting sicker and not healthier, how I'm turning 50 next year and excited about it. And I don't know many people that are turning older, getting younger, feeling younger and feeling better.
Me too, because of you.
Thank you. Well, anybody who drinks the Kool-Aid, as I say at True Wellness, does, if you follow along with it. And I've always said that the homes that we live in are so important in so many ways, because it's where we spend our home, and our work is where we spend the majority of our life, obviously. And it matters. The home that we live in, the environment we creates. It doesn't matter the size of the home. It's what makes a home is the energy, the feeling in a home. And, we both have been in this world long enough to realize that all of life is about the feeling. And the feeling in the body is actually what runs our body. It's the feeler of us. It's not the thinker. The thinker is important, and the feeler, they have to work together. The brain and the body have to work together. But there's been such a disbalance in how we've looked at the body, such a misaligned way to understand how the body works, that people are looking outside of themselves for pills, for, different suppressive things to get rid of symptoms, rather than understanding, just like our house. If all of a sudden you're like, where'd that water come from on the floor? You're not just going to keep cleaning it up. You're going to go, well, maybe I should figure out where the water's coming from on the floor. We don't just suppress it and clean it up. We always look at what are the bones of the house going to look, what are the bones of the house doing, and what's the piping doing, and can all the stuff that comes in the house, can it get out? If we've got dust, if we've got dirt, is there a way to get it out? Is there a way to get pathogens? When we walk into house with shoes, which please stop doing that. Kelly Kennedy, please stop putting your shoes on and walking through your home, because you're tracking in so much that we have no idea. There's so much unseen stuff. I'm not here to freak you out. I'm a very happy person, but it's having awareness about what our body is actually exposed to, just like what our home's exposed to, and setting up the systems in our body, just like in our home, to change our filters, to make sure we're preventing any issues, doing certain checks, certain times. And I'm here to tell you, it's more than brushing your teeth, taking a shower, going to a dentist once a year, a doctor once a year, and an eye doctor once a year, that are barely having any concept of time with you, first of all, and are looking at you, compartmentalizing you, and then looking at you to go, oh, well, I'm an eye doctor, so you need eye doctor, you need eyeglasses. Well, I'm a surgeon, so I'm a dermatologist, so I want to cut it out. And never asking the infamous question of why the body do this. Because the body never makes a mistake. It's always trying to compensate for all the stress that we're under. Just like the house we get to live in is built to handle pressures and structures based upon where that house is and what it's up against. We've got to protect ourselves based upon where we live and how we live. And the more we can change how we live, the more we can change our environment. We're putting less in, we're having to clean less out, but we can also do a lot to clean up what we've got going on. That was
it's not just, and you'll agree with me that it's not just at your home, it's also the feeling at work. Because as a working mom, running a house, working at home, at work, trying to get through the feelings of different milestones at your office or different things that you have to work through. I know we have gone through having a lot of vulnerability with each other of saying, Sue, why are you feeling this way? What is the stress that you're under? How can we get you through this situation? And it's really, you can actually go back to your past knowing that you have a block and have to move through that so that you can actually grow in the role that you're in to not have that stress. So it's like two different worlds, because you have your home and you have your work and you're right there and you have to balance it all. And you definitely helped me with that. So, what do you believe the 3 keys to success are in having, a good mind, body, soul feeling? I know that was a lot.
No, it's a great question. And number 1 is a sigh, like to truly take a breath and sigh. And it's not about deep breathing. I find that I work with a lot of clients to get them in what we call in their bodies, which my husband always says, where the hell are they if they're not in their bodies? Well, it's just, we're up in our minds. Where does that live? All throughout the body. It's not just in your brain. It's the mind is, we're observing the mind. So the mind isn't us. But in the mind, body, spirit concept, you've got to get them in alignment, right? Because the body wants to go one way often, the mind wants to go another, and we feel very conflicted and we want to be in alignment. And the best way to be in alignment is to be present. And the best way to be present is to take a breath. A conscious, not necessarily deep, just a conscious breath, watching the breath come into the body. Finding where it hits some kind of wall, some rigidity, some tension, and then exhaling it out, right? I walked in the office like I do every morning, like a freaking bag lady with like my light that I travel back and forth with, my lunch, my backpack, my change of clothes for later because I'm going out with like all the things, right? I'm like, and I'm like barely walking through the hallway, can't wait to put the bags down. As soon as they put the bags down, I go,
Right.
And I go, that's the sigh I'm talking about. That's what I want everybody to do. Before you make a decision, whatever the stress is that comes up in your life, because I appreciate so much what you said, Sue, because stress is the killer. Like all the things bad water, yes, it sucks. Bad food, yes, it sucks. Metals suck. Chemicals suck. Yep, that's not good. Wi-Fi radiation is good. But stress, emotional stress, physical, whether it's positive or negative, big changes in your life, big moves, big whatever, big things cause a lot of stress, a lot of contrast. And the body's got to be able to go through that stress and be able to respond without reacting, as Sue said so beautifully earlier. And our job as organisms is to be able to compensate for stress, to regulate for stress. And that's this medicine. And that we handle it mostly through our breath, through the heart rate variability, through lymphatic system, through the fascia. I know I'm throwing things at you guys that you don't.
I know, but even seeing you and talking to you, I actually breathe better, because I remember the first time I met you, you were like, breathe. And I said to you, how? So, and you were like, you don't breathe. And I said, I'm breathing. And you said, no, you're not breathing. You're just keeping alive, I think is what you're saying, but you need to breathe. So, and you were like, so let's breathe together. So I don't think people even realize consciously to have that breath and to let that in and out, even if they're sitting at their office trying to make a decision, the consciousness of breathing, of getting that oxygen in and then letting it out, allows us to be realigned to make conscious decisions
and to be relaxed and doing it. Because if we're in sympathetic, if we're in fight flight, we're not going to make the best decisions because we're in survival mode. And we got to be in that vulnerable state. We've got to be in that relaxed surrender state to really access the greater wisdom, the divine, the wisdom within, the divinity of all the wisdom that's in nature all the time that we can access. And we simply can do it through our breath. And it's really getting people, please hear this, to focus more on the exhale. Because the inhale will always
I know, because you like it to be loud.
Yeah. Really likes it loud. So through the throat, not the mouth, and not taking the body to just truly allow the body to relieve the pressure. And now I can be more relaxed. Now I can think about how I'm going to strategize this problem or whatever the case may be. So that's the number one.
Okay, that's number one. We got two more.
Number two is now we take a breath. Now we move it out of the body, because emotions and stress and toxicants don't move unless we move, because our lymph system is our filter. I could go hours on that, but we'll just let you know that you have 3 times more lymph fluid in your body than you do blood. Lymph is your filter. Most people don't know about lymph. We're going to give you some information. I have some gifts for Sue's community to help educate you, because my goal is you're not going to learn everything today. I'm probably going to raise more questions for you.
Thank you.
Then you're going to get solutions and answers from today. But it's going to give you a different perspective, a different framework, a different way to look at your body, a different way to look at your life that will give you freedom, that'll give you the keys, to your life, to have freedom. So you are not dependent upon supplements, detox protocols, pharmaceutical drugs, therapies, therapists, all the things, because you know how your body works and you know what your body's trying to communicate to you. As I was saying earlier, it never makes a mistake. So we have to let go, though, move out the toxicants, the pathogens, the emotional components that no longer serve us. So we do that by moving and stimulating our bodies. So literally moving. Like literally moving your arms, moving in ways and moving differently and frequently is the best advice I have. Don't do the same movement all the time, because you'll create adhesions, you'll create stagnancies, you'll create rigidities. You want to be flexible and you want to move, you want to dance, you want to,
move it around.
Move around. Get that neck moving. Oh, I'm sitting at my desk for 20 minutes, an hour. Maybe I'll just move my neck back and forth. So that's move. So moving differently, frequently is going to open up the fascia. That's going to be a big thing. And within that, I think I'm going to make that number 2 is moving your lymph as well. So there's ways to access that lymph system to make it pump, because it doesn't have a pump on its own.
So you say you can do this yourself.
Yeah. So
we're going to do it together.
We're not choking ourselves. We're going to take these 2 fingers, our middle finger and our ring finger, and above the clavicle, you're just going to pump just a little pressure. You're not pushing down. Just think of it gentle and soft, like you're pumping.
What does it mean when it hurts?
It means SueMeitner. Means you haven't been in my office. Sue and her lymph. Story of my life.
Okay, go ahead.
It means that there's backup. So lymph only goes in one direction, but it can be backed up, like a hoarder's house can be backed up, right? With all this stuff, and you need a pathway. And that's, if it's sore, that's what's happening. You have hoarded lymph. That's a great analogy. I've never used it. Thank you for that analogy. Because of you, I came up with it because of the house thing. It's so good. Because I do always use the analogy. The lymph is like your house. The fascia is the bones of it, which holds it all together, holds the structure. And the furniture is your blood. And everybody's like, what's my blood work look like? I'm like, well, that doesn't matter. That changes all the time. And there's not much of it. If you got all the furniture in your house, put it into a corner, you'd have way more floor space. That's your lymph and your fascia.
Right.
So we open up the lymph up here, and I teach people how to dry brush properly, because the way they teach it on YouTube is just dead wrong. And you don't start your feet, start your neck. And I teach people how to manually stimulate, a simplified version than what we do at the center, but a simplified version of how to pump your lymph nodes. So everybody has lymph nodes, between 600 and 1,000 of them in our body, concentrated in our neck and our gut. And this is where the body filters, where it identifies pathogens, how it gets things out. And then we breathe them out, mostly back to that breath. How important. We breathe out more toxicants than we do the others, but we pee them out, we sweat them out, we poop them out, and we bleed them out. That's Kelly Kennedy's theory, waiting for science to back me up. Any sputum out of the body of any direction, anything that comes out of the body is a way for the body to get rid of toxicants, to drain them out. So we need to focus on our drainage system. And this would be like, if you didn't have eaves troughs, what are they called? Gutters. If you didn't have gutters on your roof, your ceiling, the thing outside your house, I don't say it well. Right. The roof. However you're supposed to say it. When it's got all the debris on it, if you don't have clean gutters, nothing's coming out.
It's going to get clogged.
Are your lymph system. And so we got to work that. So that's number one is breathe. Number two, move differently frequently and move that lymph system, which I can send everybody over to figure out how to do that easily. And
yeah, once we post everything, we'll have all the links to it underneath.
And the third thing, because we are fascia, lymph, oxygen we've got carrying is water. So the quality and the structure of our water.
Right. And you say
no iced tea in it. With no iced tea in it, I say with love. Look at
no iced tea. No iced tea. Moved away from iced tea.
Is it the buy?
Just water with a splash of cranberry.
Oh, okay, good. I'll take it.
How about that?
I'm impressed. That's a very good job. Very good job.
You thought it was my iced tea.
It took me a long time to get her off the iced tea. It dehydrates, right? I mean, I love iced tea too. I do. Especially my South Carolina days, right? I love my unsweetened Southern tea, but it's dehydrating, and hydration and oxygen need to get everywhere in the body. They need to circulate. So we need to get the fascia and the lymph open, which is my flow formula: fascia, lymph, oxygen, water, and energy. So when we open our fascia, which is moved differently frequently, pump our lymph nodes, which is the liquid part of the body, the water part of the body, really, we can then get oxygen everywhere as we breathe more, as we be conscious breathers. Then the water in the body can structure, and water holds information, and we are mostly water. And water can be structured, and water can make beautiful sacred geometry, crystals when looked at under a microscope in a very specific way, or it can be dissonant, and it can be not in coherence. It can look not symmetrical and not patterned and not like, looking like it's formed. It can look disformed. That's the wording. So we want everything to be in coherence. We want it to be structured and formed, and its highest order of frequency is when we're healing, when we're in coherence. So the water in the body, and paying attention. I have, in all of our homes, the first thing we do, new construction home, we opened up all of the oxygen and got air flowing through, because they make the houses so tight. We open up the home, we get it to breathe, oxygen, right? The next thing we did was we handled all the Wi-Fi radiation. We got the Faraday cages, we got the generators that send out scalar energy to handle all the Wi-Fi radiation, so that there's a magnetic field that's coherent in our home, because we spend so much time in that and it's going to affect us. We got good lighting that's only sending out frequencies that are good, low level LEDs or incandescents ideally. Then we focus on the water. So we
Right.
got pure water in the home first. We purify it. We strip it of all the chemicals because it's municipal water. If you're lucky enough to have well water, you just make sure there's no bacteria in it.
Right.
Then we have a system at the point of use at the counter that creates alkalized, hydrolyzed, structured water that's therapeutic in nature. Like every single culture has always had spiritual water, has always had healing water because water heals.
Right.
Water holds information. And when it's has hydrogen in it, that's known as honestly the spirit molecule. It's also the lightest of all the molecules in the chemical chart. And light, it's the lightest molecule. Light is how cells communicate through light and sound because we're just frequency generators, frequency machines. And we're vitalistic though. We're not machines. I shouldn't say machines. We're not mechanistic. We're vitalistic. We're ever evolving, ever changing, ever growing, ever expanding, ever compensating as we are well. This is how it all goes. And we continue to evolve into beautiful fine wine as we age.
Right.
And that's how it should go. So number 3 is making sure that our water is of the highest purity and the highest quality. A lot of people are thinking about water these days, which is great, but they're drinking a lot of plastic bottles. Got to be out of glass, ideally. And it really should be considered, meaning it shouldn't just be like, water, like spending time with the quality, spending just a moment. You don't need an expensive filter. You can, but you don't also need it. You can just spend time with it in your heart, breathe it into it, get it to align with you, and you will change the quality of the water. Having gratitude. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago that we didn't have homes that we could go turn faucets and have water pour out of it. And we live in a very, very privileged world. And we have maybe taken it a little too far with our consumption. Maybe we have taken a little lack of consideration for the fact that we are nature and that the water and the air we breathe should come from nature and the lighting. And that then we live in these homes that are locking in, sealing the air, filtering it through, manufactured air condensers. And then, the water is municipal with 7,000 chemicals in it and treated with chlorine. So you don't have any bacteria in it. Yeah. But what about my next door neighbor's birth control pills that they peed out, and everybody's Prozac that they're on that they peed out? They don't have any filter system in the municipal water to take all that out. So if you're drinking municipal water, you are literally drinking medications all day long. And it's just another level of burden in the body. And so making sure we have air filters, like I have an air doctor filter both in my home and my office, 2 at each one, because of the air quality. And honestly, when that whole thing happened, whenever it was a few months ago now with the smoke and all that, I was so not like, whatever, make sure the air doctor's on. I called my mom in upstate New York. Is your air doctor on? Have you changed your filter lately?
Right.
Because you either are a filter or you buy a filter.
Right.
And, and we are filters because they're inundating us with the pesticides, the Roundup, and all the communities. Like you can't get away from the glyphosate, which I don't even like the word. That's why it's hard for me to say. But there's a lot of toxicants out there, and our job is to help get rid of them faster than they're throwing them at us. And how do we do that? We move differently frequently. We get our fascia moving. We open up our lymphatic drainage, which is our gutters, our pipes. Then we get the oxygen by breathing gently and slowly and consciously. Then our water gets structured and we have high quality water. And then the energy flows, because energy flows at the speed of light.
Right.
If we wait for the central and peripheral nervous system and the neurotransmitter and the nervous system, that moves you can measure it in seconds. Speed of light, speed of sound, way faster.
Right.
So let's work with that form of communication with the frequency of the body, which is the more subtle energy body, but the thing that actually we're more of than we are home. And this is our environment. And if we don't take care of this environment and take care of the environment that we live in most of the time, our home and our office, we can't compensate well. And the emotional body, which is 90% of all illness, is where that lives, is in this energy body, in the lymph, in the fascia. And as we start to open that, as we start to move, then the emotions come out. Now we've got more space in the body. And when now that next thing comes up, that decision has to be made, we take a breath and we go, oh, I have space. because I'm not juggling all this other stuff that's in
Right.
my body, whether it's, the perfume that I've been using for 30 years, the deodorant that has aluminum in it, please stop doing that. Or, whatever the case may be, or it's just general stress because my mother-in-law moved in with us, and wow, has that been a situation? Whatever the stress is, physical or emotional, our body's job is to be able to compensate for that. And what we do at True Wellness is really facilitate your body being able to do that. I don't heal anybody. Everybody's their own healer. Everybody's their own physician. Everybody's their own doctor. It's just within you.
Right.
And our job is to help access that and help you experience that so that you know how to work with it, support it, drain it, love on it, so it can keep showing up for you regardless of the environment
you're in. Yeah. I
I
love all of that. And I believe in all of that. And I think that it's super important that you are conscious of everything that you said with regards to breathing, with regards to your lymph system, with regards to water, and just having that all work together. And as I said in the beginning, you have educated me so much. Kelly, who do you admire?
I admire you.
As I admire you.
I do. I mean, you are a very strong businesswoman and have gone out to teach and break ceilings and boundaries. And, both of us could be looked at as bitches throughout times in our life. And
true.
But it's really just because we're passionate and knowing and unwilling to be wavered. And my real heroes are the people doing it, putting one foot in front of the other every day and showing up for the other women and people, not just women, but we are in a beautiful new world. I call it the right side up world because we've been upside down for at least 3 years. For a long time. And it's really because we've been overdeveloping the masculinity. And it's not about man, female. It's about masculinity versus divinity. It's about the mammal versus the divine that lives within the mammal. And it's time to support that divinity because we've led from the back and the side for too long. So truly, like, strong women in my field, in any field, do inspire me and are my muse for keeping me going, for knowing that, there's always a way to find a way, because I can find a way no matter what your body's doing. Broken, there. Business, was not my forte. I need inspiration in business from women like you.
Thank you. And I appreciate the kind words. And I do believe that women need to raise other women up and be there for each other and be there for a telephone call to say, sometimes you do feel like you're on an island, especially as a woman entrepreneur, and to be there to take that phone call and say, I feel like I'm on an island. I just need to talk to you for 15 minutes on my ride home because I'm going to walk in the door and have to be a mom then. And right. I need the energy to be that mom, but I need to release this right now and not have judgment for what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's no judgment. And
it's a real friend. And that's a real gift to yourself of self-care right there. I just picked up this thing. I was at Staples picking up some journals for some of our clients, and I saw this thing about self-care. So I picked it up, and the first thing was take a freaking bath. And I was like, really? Is that really how we self-care is take a freaking bath? Like, come on, there's so much more to it. Self-care is knowing what you need and being able to ask for it.
Yeah.
That's self-care.
True.
Thank you. I don't know. You want me to name somebody else that inspires?
No, it's not actually who I thought you were going to say, but I appreciate that. But I think that admiring women is a lot fantastic.
That I admire and that I have the benefit of knowing.
Yeah, your list is long. I know your list is long.
I had to start a podcast because of it, really.
Yeah. So you do have a podcast. Why don't you tell everybody about your podcast?
So it's called F.L.O.W.E, Fascia, Lymph, Oxygen, Water, Energy. Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
It's available on Spotify, Apple, anywhere. We actually were about 135 or so episodes in. We started about 3 years ago, and it started as the beats.
Grab Your Keys was after you, for sure. You were a pioneer in that.
Thank you. And so some of the older episodes are called the beats, and the newer episodes are called F.L.O.W.E, but it's it's really about educating you and interviewing my great colleagues to find the most efficient and effective way for you to be educated about how your body works and what technology really works. Because there's a lot of posers out there, and we want to help you decipher through that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you had to change your career, what career would you be in?
Well, one is I want to be a stand-up comedian.
Right. Because you've been so funny on this podcast so far. No.
Oh, come on. There was a lot going on. This is my joke right here. This is my tool for helping move and stimulate your lymph.
Stimulate your lymph.
Pump your lymph, drain your lymph, pump the nodes to drain them out. And here you go. And it vibrates just to let you know. So it's called vibe. And, it does vibrate. And so there you go. There's part of my joke. So no, I'd be a comedian. And I think I've thought a lot about like a forensic scientist. I'm just an investigator, and I'm so fascinated by science and so fascinated by anatomy and physiology. I've been working on alive people, so I think dead people would be the next step. I find it all so fascinating. Anthropology,
I love anthropology. Yeah,
like discovering humanity and how we got here and where we're going and how fast can we get there. Quantum physics, I love that. I just love studying.
Yeah. So, what's in the future for Kelly and True Wellness?
Well, we turned 18 the other day. I feel like I can vote now. I vote for no government. That's what I vote for. Lack of government. That's what I vote for. I vote for True Wellness being better at what we have done. I feel like it's funny, but I feel like I finally know what I want to be when I grow up and what I want to really, it's taken me 26 years to really understand how to educate people about the flow state, how to experience the flow state. And I just want to do that. I want to help people experience their own inner beauty, their own wisdom, their divinity within, truly in a visceral way, so that it's not this etheric thing that we talk about, but it's a mystical experience without having to take psychoactive drugs to be able to experience it. And help people get into this joyful, blissful state of which I've been fortunate enough to surf in for years and years, and love assisting and facilitating other people do the same. And I just want to write more books and do more of that while I get to surf the rest of the earth and experience all the things, because I'm going to live to be 160 and die in my sleep. And Silas is going to live to be 120. My husband has decided to leave in 24 years. That's up to him, or 84. So 19 years from now. So, we got it all planned out, and that's the future for Kelly Kennedy.
Well, that's awesome. Why don't you tell everybody about the book that you have, that you wrote, that you wrote?
Did you? I was wondering if you even saw it. So this is because it just came out a couple weeks ago. So this is my hard copy, Lymphatic Flow.
Yeah, I need a signed copy. I don't have it yet, but I'll be making an appointment to get my flow under control, and you can give me a signed copy.
I will be honored to be able to share that with you, like you shared yours with me. This is really quick lymph lessons and how to support your body. I didn't want to overcomplicate it. I wanted to give people practical information. So you can purchase the physical book that's also available in a PDF. But as a gift to your community, I also wrote a quick version of even this, which gives them a little bit more flow step tips that's free, that we're giving everybody with this.
Amazing. Thank you. We'll put the link down there. And, Kelly, I so appreciate you being on the call today. I just wanted to tell a little story so everyone really gets to understand how great you are at your job. And besides it's me, my children when I can't figure out what to do, what's wrong with my children when they are sick, at times I have called you and said, my son just doesn't feel well and we need to get him into shape. And I have sent him to you. I've put my precious china in your hands, and you have made my precious china be stronger and better. And in my heart that when I give my children to you to help, that I really trust and believe in everything that you say. And I just hope that the people listening to this realize how important it is for us to really work with our bodies and listen to our bodies, because they don't steer us wrong. And I would not know that unless I've known you And I thank the universe for putting us together because I truly love our friendship. So thank you. Thank you for all that you give to the community. And thank you for sharing as much as you did today. So everyone, Kelly, how would people get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you?
Well, first, before I say that, I will say true gratitude for you for exposing this work to a whole nother community of people, because that is my mission, is to wake people up out of the fear of, I don't know how my body works, and to really give them the peace of mind of understanding it and working with it and experiencing it. And the trust does not go unnoticed when people bring their friends, their family, their kids to us. Having just our 18th birthday yesterday, I was sent a video to everybody to truly just, I get it. Having a 10-year-old, it's a lot, and you need a village, and we want to be the village to help you understand what the ancients knew and the village that they had, with the wisdom of how the body works, how nature works. And that's what we're here to bring back into the community. So how they can find us is on Instagram. We are True Wellness Global, and I'm Kelly Kennedy. Kelly Wellness Girl, sorry, on Instagram, Kelly Wellness Girl. And our website is The True Wellness Center, all spelled out. And the podcast again is F.L.O.W.E. And just email us. We have a client contact form. If you're interested in being a client, you can fill out the form for discovery. But at least sign up for our email list somehow so that you get our flow tips, which are free, come to you twice a week to just teach you things about your fascia, your lymph, your oxygen, your water, your energy, because we want to give people self-care over healthcare. And
yeah, I love everything that you said. Everything will be below. And everyone, this is definitely one for you to like, comment, share with your friends. And Kelly, once again, thank you so much. Everyone, thanks for listening. And remember, grab your keys.